10 signs. Trauma made you smarter than most people. It doesn't look like intelligence at first. It looks like someone who notices too much, who pauses before speaking, who reads the room before the room even speaks. There's a moment most people would ignore. A group is sitting together laughing, talking casually. Nothing unusual, nothing tense, but one person feels it. A slight shift in tone, a hesitation in someone's voice, a smile that doesn't fully reach the eyes. No one else reacts. The conversation continues, but this person already knows something is off. Not because they're overthinking, but because they've learned to notice what others were never forced to see. Most people move through the world assuming safety. They take words at face value. They trust expressions. They don't analyze silence. But some people can't do that. They don't just hear what's said, they hear what's avoided. They don't just see behavior, they sense intention. Where others see normal, they see patterns. And this difference isn't random. It's learned. Here's the part that's difficult to accept. Some forms of intelligence are not developed in comfort. They are developed in unpredictability, in environments where emotions weren't stable, where reactions weren't consistent, where safety had to be figured out, not given. In those environments, the brain adapts, not for success, not for achievement, but for survival. And sometimes, survival requires a kind of awareness that later looks like intelligence. Psychology has a term for this: hypervigilance. It's the brain's way of staying alert in uncertain environments. When someone grows up in situations where emotional cues matter, where a small change in tone could signal conflict, danger, or rejection, their brain learns to scan constantly. Over time, the scanning becomes automatic. It sharpens perception. It strengthens pattern recognition. It accelerates emotional processing. In controlled environments, intelligence often develops through structured learning. But in unpredictable ones, it develops through adaptation. And adaptation, under pressure, can create a different kind of intelligence. Not academic, not obvious, but deeply perceptive. 10 signs trauma shaped your intelligence. 1. You read people faster than others. You don't need long explanations. Micro-expressions, tone shifts, and pauses tell you enough. 2. You trust patterns more than words. Consistency matters more to you than promises. 3. You're highly self-aware. You analyze your own reactions, often before others even notice theirs. 4. You anticipate outcomes. Your mind runs simulations: what could happen, what might go wrong. 5. You're emotionally perceptive, but guarded. You understand feelings deeply, but don't reveal yours easily. 6. You notice what others ignore. Details, inconsistencies, subtle dynamics. Nothing fully escapes you. 7. You adapt quickly to different environments because you had to. 8. You think before you speak. Not out of insecurity but calculation. 9. You're independent to a fault. Relying on others doesn't come naturally. 10. You struggle to relax even when things are fine, because your brain isn't used to fine. Research in trauma psychology suggests that early adversity can significantly alter cognitive processing. Studies on individuals exposed to unpredictable environments show increased activity in brain regions responsible for threat detection and emotional processing. In some cases, this leads to heightened sensitivity and ability to detect subtle emotional cues faster than others. This doesn't mean trauma is beneficial, but it does mean the brain is capable of transforming pressure into perception. What was once necessary for survival can become a tool for understanding, but here's the paradox. The same awareness that makes someone perceptive can also make the world feel heavier. Because when you see more, you carry more. You notice contradictions in people. You sense discomfort behind smiles. You recognize patterns others deny. And over time, this creates a quiet distance, not because you want to disconnect, but because it's hard to fully belong in a world that feels less aware. There's a loneliness in seeing clearly, not dramatic, not visible, but persistent. This kind of intelligence often goes unrecognized. In social settings, it may look like overthinking. In relationships, it may be mistaken for distance. In conversations, it may appear as silence. People might say, "You're too sensitive. You think too much. You need to relax. But what they don't see is that this sensitivity was built, not chosen. And because it was built for survival, it doesn't switch off easily. This creates tension. You understand people deeply, but feel misunderstood yourself. You can read others clearly, but struggle to be read. And over time, this imbalance shapes how you connect, trust, and exist around others. So the question isn't simply, did trauma make you smarter? It's more complicated than that. Trauma didn't give you intelligence in the way the world usually defines it. It gave you awareness, pattern recognition, emotional precision. It trained your mind to see what others overlook. But it also asked you to carry more than most people ever have to. And maybe the real realization is this. Some of the sharpest minds are not shaped by curiosity alone. They are shaped by necessity, by the need to understand, adapt, and survive. So if you've ever felt different, not because you know more, but because you notice more, it might not be a flaw. It might be the result of a mind that learned, too early, how much there was to see.